This is part 2. Continued on. This would be 590. Says, quickest way to get rid of him. He's still taking pictures. They're incredible. Guilty plea, insanity plea. He's building a case against us. One more. Okay, now them are plots going back even a year and a half prior the weapons charge, even what, 7 months, 8 months prior the first restraining order turned stalking. All these plots, they even talk of the weapons, trying to get a guilty plea, force them into a sanity plea, one thing or another. These guys plot and premeditate each and every one of their crimes that they're doing against the people. Everybody knows that I was caring for my mother after they gave her a new stroke. I also got a 4.5 hour recording of a man by the name of Greg Haskis, which I will be playing as well. This is his card. Greg Haskis, PhD. He claimed to be a CIA hypnotist, programmer, deprogrammer that stayed in my mother's motel for a week and then asked me and my wife for a ride into town. He detained us for 4.5 hours. He did not know we were recording him. He goes into all these direct energy weapons, hypnosis. He says that the CIA calls him in to deprogram those that they're done with. He also violated every one of my family members, including my mother, my wife, our son, etc., myself. Now, I'm going to leave this page here. I'm going to show you pictures of these assaults. Well, first, this is part of one of the recordings of the CIA hypnotist deprogrammer. Just a part. And this was June 16th, 2011, approximately 2 weeks before they gave my mother an induced stroke.
Yeah, because we all do them again and again. You need to rise above that. They program you. Continue to tell me they're a victim. They can hypnotize you. They can do it. Because when you say you're been a victim, that keeps you in that mode. As a victim, right? Or they'll tell me, well, you know, I'm a survivor. I'm sorry. Because that keeps you in victim mode. up, whatever. They do though.
Because in your mind you allow it.
All right, how do we stop the physical pain from their electronic weapons?
You build up your energy field and don't give it any power.
Did you hear that? That is ridiculous. This guy is a brainwasher trying to cover up their actions and trying to steer me away from the fact issues that I already know.
This is very important because these physical weapons can shrink your intestines. The microwave weapon can shrink you, dehydrate you, make your intestines down to near nothing, to where it's extremely painful. You can't put past nothing. We have to leave this place for about 4 to 5 hours just to have a regular bowel movement. Other times they've kept me bleeding internally up to 5 weeks long, where I could hardly even take 5-10 steps or even get out of the bathroom. It's not diarrhea, it's not stomach flu, it is their weapons. Other times a vehicle can be in front of you, all they gotta do is zap you or something and your intestines, organs are jumping out. Induced heart attacks, they can make you go blind, they burn you the shit out of your head, they cause blood clots, they make you go blind, they burnt the shit out of our stepson. To where my stepson, he's got burns so deep in his chest. We're on 3 months of healing. Continuing on.
Actually, it took 7 months of healing. We've all had them on our bodies. And related to these weapons, electronic assault, etc., nanotech, radio frequency, microwave, pulse phase array, infrared, etc. Infrared can make you go into full paralysis, to where they can come in and violate you, do whatever they want. Same with the electromagnetical and the radio frequency. They can totally shut down your conscience, knock you out, again, and do whatever they want. It goes on and on and on. I'm going to just play a few clips of this. There's other issues that I want to get on.
Build up energy field and try not to give up power.
What do you do to build your energy field? What do you do to depolarize?
I use Christ as a high power, but then again I use the Earth's energy field.
Okay.
The Christ is I try following his example.
Okay. So if you believe in Christ, I ask all my Christians then, nothing can hurt you.
True, spiritually. Spiritually, but yes, their weapons can hurt. They can maim. They can torture. They can slowly kill you from the inside out. They can cause damage to your bladder, your kidneys, your ovaries, your pancreas.
I'd like to point this out. Right now, I need $100,000 surgery related to this torture. My mother's medical bills alone came up to over $240,000, and she's 50% paralyzed on the left-hand side, and she's been that way ever since the lethal assault upon her. I will show evidence of that within this video and the next one. I have over 10 inches of scar tissue on my colon. No sign of disease, no sign of cancer. The surgeon that I seen said there's no logical explanation that he could give without considering this technology. My bladder is also fused to my colon, so I'm leaking fluids from the colon into the bladder and from the bladder into the colon. I actually felt the nanotechnology welding the bladder to the organ of the colon and then cutting a hole in between the two. The psychologist tried telling me that that's all in my head. He said that when you get two organs rubbing on top of each other like water pipes, the friction will cause it to create holes inside each other, and then they just slowly, gradually heal back together. That is totally bullshit. If your organs are all coated with special coating and sacs. Your organs are all touching and laying on top of each other. With the movement of the body being standing up, moving, walking, twisting, laying down, rolling over, even if you had two holes between two organs that are constantly moving, there's no way that they would heal together perfectly. There's no way. They had to be spot welded first by electricity, by nanotechnology. and that's exactly what happened. The organs moving would prevent any healing of exact identical two holes lining up perfectly together to heal together. So it's totally absurd. Here also is one of the first evaluation reports that they sent me to. I'll read briefly a part of it. Now everybody knows after my mother's stroke, my wife and I began taking care of my family. That when they broke in and stole my mother's weapons, 55, out of my father's office in a room outside of the motel, I called the police, the feds in 3 different states, trying to get help, trying to get a report filed on these, and nobody would come out, nobody would do anything, just like they wouldn't do anything on the torture of our son. This is what the lady wrote up in the first eval at Scott Bluffs Medical Center, RWPC, Psychiatry and Behavioral Health, 2nd West 42nd Street, Suite 32, Scottsbluff, Nebraska. The date on this was 3/26/2012. Patient is 42-year-old male who is currently incarcerated since 2/7/2011. Patient reports that he was assaulted in jail by other prisoners because he was staying up reading a Bible 2 or 3 days and reading a Bible. I was assaulted. I had 3 ribs broken and 3 herniated discs. Further goes on to say, and reported that he was beaten by other prisoners. When asked why, patient gave a very elaborate story about how his father was a sheriff in Wyoming and the FBI agents are after him as he has been secretly taking pictures of the FBI agents. Now that's not true. I've been gathering evidence on these people for close to 24 years. That's how long I've been researching this. That's how long I've been a torture victim. Further goes on to say, patient reports that he is an ex-felon, changed because, patient reports that after his father died, mother inherited his father's guns. However, his mother was living in a hotel, and while his mother passed away, he came to take care of the hotel and gave the guns in the hotel, and therefore he couldn't be near guns. Therefore he called the police to come pick up the guns. He had a felony charge, could not be responsible for keeping guns in the house. However, patient reports that the police arrested him for keeping the guns. That's how stupid it is. They refuse to file any reports. They probably cost this family over $400,000 in about 3 to 4 years. Patient also reports that the police and the FBI have been watching him. No, they've been torturing, assaulting us, killing us with these electromagnetic weapons. Then she writes, watching him constantly through electromagnetic radiation. Patient brings out a huge number of copies of papers, information on electromagnetic radiation frequency, was somehow connected to the shooting in Texas, and he called up the federal judge because he wanted to tell him that the person who did the shooting was also under mind control, like he was under mind control. This is what their own people wrote about me. Now, after this evaluation was taken, the Fed that they put in there to give me this evaluation, that claimed to be a psychologist, checked out. No longer had an office there. Further goes on, she writes up that the patient claims, let's see, patient reports at his house, in his house he could record voices of Judge Brown 180 miles away, talking to other agents. He also reports that in 2012 posted another poster in town on Facebook saying that he was going to file a lawsuit against Judge Waldrop government agents because he knew too much about top secret military weapons. That is only half true. The truth is I posted a town poster here after they got 2 felony stalking orders against me illegally by passing on certain information to the perps that filed against me. More or less, they set them up. They did nothing but purge themselves in court, and I can still prove this to this day with dozens and dozens of witnesses, phone records, even their own testimony. From the first court case to the second to previous day, it is nothing but perjury, lies in the court, no evidence, no facts, no foundation, and they slapped me with 2 stalking orders. So this is how horrific it is. Everybody knows here, after my mother got her stroke, I was posting this stuff. I did post on Facebook that I was suing the 2 judges plus the perp for the slanderous defamation of characters that led to the felony stalking orders. As soon as I posted on Facebook, I got another recording of them stating we can't allow him to get away with this, have somebody sign more papers on him, and by the next morning when I got in town to file the lawsuits to the court, that's when the perp walked in with another set of restraining orders, stalking. Again, I will post that audio recording as well so you can hear the whole court case. It will take a little bit of time. Right now, I am going to skip to the photos.
Newborns, borns, or infants.
I've been speaking out for over 20 some years on many radio stations, and also here in town. 68 pictures here. Let me go here real quick. Let me change devices. I'm going to go through these a little fast. Alright, this is the statement by Judge Waldrop. Let's see if you can make this out. Right here it says, in addition, Mr. Taylor filed multiple CDs, documents, pictures. Actually, I filed CDs, documents, pictures, videos, audio recordings pertaining to these crimes. He says from the internet, all of which would allegedly depicts and prove the government is using top secret military weapons to harass him and other citizens. No, to torture us, to manipulate, mind control, to actually virtually killing us. My mother could have nearly died, and on top of that, they were knocking us out on the interstate with electromagnetic weapons, acoustic weapons, radio frequency in their mirrors, and out their back windows. I do have photos of these as well. The extortion on this picture is related to electromagnetic waves, bombardment going through the houses, extorting the pictures. All this information can also be found in Dr. Robert Duncan's book and Dr. John's Hall. Dr. Robert Duncan's Soul Catcher Volume 2 goes great into technology. These bright lights are actually weapons of technology. Down here on the bottom, right here, you can actually make out a man's face. He is cloaked. Right here, again, a cloaked individual holding another weapon. Over here, this dark spot, another cloaked individual. These are burns on the top of my head from these weapons, microwave weapons, voice to skull weapons. These are actually air drone assaults. They're coming down, they're full orbs, meaning they're coming straight at us. Right here you have more cloaked individuals, which is actually catching the light, so it's making the lights are deflecting. You can actually still see the shadows of the perpetrators. Even though they're cloaked, they come through as silhouettes. Right here you have a person. Right here you have a person that's actually sitting on top of my father's truck. I'm capturing his image. You can see his goggles. This is an individual cloaked, catching the light off the Pepsi machine. I gotta keep track of this. I only have so much time per video. Again, they're sitting on top of the father's truck. Their reflections are bouncing off the back wall. Now, that light distortion is from electronical field extortion, deflecting the light. More air drone assaults and electrical magnetical bombardment. Now, these EM emissions can give you cancer, strokes, seizures when it's related to the nanotechnology inside your body. Alright, I'm going to pause. We are going to go to part 3.